Hey guys, we're going to give everybody just a couple minutes to get on, and we'll get started. We'll just give everybody a little bit of time to get, and then we'll get going. So just be patient a moment. Hey Doug, good to see you, pal. Me and you need to meet up this week. I need to go ahead and get you your call, buddy. It's sitting here. We just ain't never been able to get together. Just give everybody a couple minutes, guys. People are starting to get on now. Good deal. Hey, Terrence. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, pal. Hey, Wayne. How you doing, pal? Good to see you, pal. Hi, Krista. Hey, Rio. Shane's on here. Hey, Shane. All right. We've got 11 on here, 12 on here. People start rolling in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I know it's Saturday, and you guys probably got a lot of things you all want to be doing other than watching a Facebook video, but it's getting close to turkey season. Hey, Toby. Hey, Shane. Good to see you, pal. Hey, Greg. So, guys, it is the 1st of February. I mean, we're right there at it. So turkey season's closing in, and I had a really good question come in today. A friend of mine asked me and said, Newman, when should I start scouting for turkey season this spring? And that is an excellent, excellent, excellent question. Hey, Scott, good to see you, brother. Preseason scouting is fantastic, but it can also drive you crazy. Hey, Tommy. So let's talk about preseason scouting, guys. If you go too early, hey, Toby, what's going to happen is you're going to still get into those winter flocks, and you're going to think you're on a bunch of birds. Or these birds you've seen during deer season, guys, these flocks are going to bust up once it gets close to spring gobbler season, and they're going to go to their own little hub, their own little hole, and you're going to get frustrated if you try to hunt the exact same spot you deer hunted a lot of the time. Hey, Billy. Hey, Aaron. So, preseason scouting. For our area, when is a really good time to start your preseason scouting? Hey, Carl. 3rd week to 4th week of March is when I start. I don't even fool with them before then, because you got to think, the first peak of gobbling comes in before our hunting season does. So it comes in around the 1st of April. First week and a half of April is when our first peak of gobbling is. And the reason they don't have a hunting season then is to give a lot of our hens an opportunity to get bred before they bring it in. Then they got a later peak right around the end of the first week of our spring gobbler season. But they've gobbled. Man, I've had them gobbling at me all the way up, even after season behind the house, hammering all the way up into June. So in West Virginia, guys, middle to the end of March. If you're in Florida, guys, right now, man, hunting season's getting ready to come in Florida, spring gobbler season. So if you're down south, I mean, it's time to be scouting now. But here in West Virginia, the middle of March to the end of March is when you want to be going. That's when their winter flocks are busted up, and you're not wasting your time, okay? Let's see. When you go scouting, let me give you a hint, guys, and it's hard not to. I'm the world's worst at doing it. So I'm going to tell you ahead of time, I'm the guiltiest person in the world of doing this. You're not doing yourself any favors by going out and calling those birds in and getting them to hammer to a turkey call before season. What you're doing is you're educating those turkey, and they're going to get less and less vocal. We already, in the area I live, and a lot of my guys that live around here with me, like Rodney's on here. Hey, Rodney. A lot of Shane, a lot of the guys around, Austin's on here now. Hey, Austin. Hey, Dean. Hey, Les, good to see you, buddy. When you are calling to those birds early in season, not only are you educating them, we've got so many coyotes around here now, they're not near as vocal as they was 20 years ago. So you don't want to do anything that's going to hurt your opportunity. Wayne, I'd love to go south, brother. Hey, John, good to see you, Ernie. Hey, Jeremy. I'd love to go down, Wayne. Absolutely love to. But early season, guys, if you're going to try to hear them gobble, get you a good owl hooter. By the way, not plugging product at all, just letting y'all know, I've got an amazing owl hooter. It's 2 weeks out. I'm going to be selling. I've come up with, I've worked on that thing for 3 years. I finally got the owl hooter where I want it. Guys, it sounds fantastic. So if you need one, I will have those in a couple weeks. Okay? Now, again, use your owl hooter, daylight and dark. Don't go out with a turkey call. Find out where, and you want to do that to find out where they're roosting at, guys. There's no reason to keep them gobbling, and just keep pounding them. Listen for where they're roosting. Buddy, I'm getting ready to get ready. You got that right, Lee. But you just want to, it's just for patterning your birds. Go out, listen, get them to gobble off the roost, get them to gobble going to the roost. That right there, guys, I'm telling you, that's the best thing in the world to do, and then leave them alone. Something else, guys, when you're just walking around the woods, preseason scouting now, we're not using that turkey call. Hey, come get rid of them, Toby. Up this holler, they're everywhere. The more you get rid of, the better, brother. Hey, Patrick, good to see you, buddy. Look for tracks, guys. Everybody, if you're a new turkey hunter, I know most of you all know this, but I'm going to reiterate it for our new turkey hunters. A mature gobbler has a very long middle toe. It's longer than the side toes. A hen, they're all about the same length. So when you're scouting, just look for the tracks. Look for dust bowls. I'm telling you guys, if you can find dust bowls and find drag marks alongside the turkey tracks, guys, that right there is telling you a whole lot of information that they're breeding there. Hey, Tony. Hey, Carl. Come on up, Carl. You're good, buddy. So, yeah, look for the... It's too hard not taking a call. Dang, I hear you, buddy. I hear you, brother. Hey, Trey. Something other than looking for tracks and dust bowls, guys, and this is kind of new now that everybody has the internet and they've got a computer right there in their hand all the time. Guys, study topo maps or aerial maps. I've got a hunting app on my phone that tells me property owners and everything. A lot of you all probably have that. But it'll show you secluded points. Timber over top of wet areas like a swamp. Turkeys like to roost in that stuff, guys. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Chandler. Yeah, but use your topo maps or aerial maps. Look for secluded points. Get out and walk your property. This is one of the most important things I can tell you. Get out and walk your property you're going to hunt. Just walk it. The biggest reason to walk your property, guys, is to find obstacles that's going to get in between you and a turkey. I can't tell you when I went into a new area how many times I've called to a gobbler and he doesn't come all the way in. I'm like, what in the world? And even after you shut up and let him come hunting for you, he just never comes in. A lot of times you get down and get to looking and there was a road or a creek bed or a high wall between you and that turkey, and you had no clue. I went with Doodle 2 years ago, and we called one for, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and he just would not budge. And we finally shut up. An hour later, he gobbled again, same place, would not budge. We got to looking, there was this huge high wall in between us. He just made up his mind he wasn't coming over that high wall, guys. Know your property if you can. Now, if you're hunting a new area, study your maps. That's about all you're going to be able to do. But if you've got a piece of property that you can get out and walk and just look, you can reposition on that turkey if you've got an obstacle between you and him. Do everything you can to put the odds in your favor. People talk about how smart turkeys are. Turkey aren't that smart. Turkey are extremely great survivalists. If they just don't tolerate anything that puts them at risk. So they're amazing survivalists is what they are. If something moves, if something sounds wrong, if there's something where they have to go where they can't see very well. Guys, a lot of times that's all it takes. That's all it takes. And they're going to hang up. They're not going to go any farther. You got to think how many things bobcats and the coyotes and stuff that's out there hunting those things. Not talking about humans, just in their everyday life. They got to get up and fight to survive every day. We see lots of hens. Will they stay on that property? Some will, Ernie. Some will. Like I said, the the flocks will break up and the hens will start going to nest. Once they breed, they'll have their own little nest, and they'll, when they fly down, they'll go to those eggs every morning. So everything's going to break up come toward the end of March. They're going to start breaking up and going their own direction. So yeah, they'll break up. Now, how big's Ernie? I'd have to know how big the piece of property is during deer season and fall season. Yeah, I get you, buddy. Depending on how big the property is, there'll be some on there. You probably won't see as many as you saw during deer and turkey season because, again, they're in those huge winter flocks. Guys, something I do, and this helps me a lot because I'm really forgetful. I keep a journal. I keep a little old notebook. I write down every time I seen a turkey where I saw him at. Every time I heard a turkey, gobbler or hen, I write it down. Tracks you seen in the road, write it down. And this is the one that gets left out. If you've hunted an area a bunch of times and you got a dead zone where you're not hearing any turkeys, not seeing any turkeys, notate that. What we're trying to do with our scouting is to maximize our opportunities and value our time. Here in West Virginia, you can only hunt half a day. In other states, you can hunt all day. But here in West Virginia, you got half a day to hunt. So if there's an area you've hunted a bunch of times, and over here in this swag or on this point, you've never heard a turkey, write that down, guys. 40 acres, Ernie. Yeah, you should, Ernie. You should have at least in 40 acres. You should probably have a couple of good gobblers and some. If you got a good turkey population and some good hens, buddy. Now they probably won't be as many as what you've seen, but you should have. You should still retain plenty. But hey, Robert, good to see you, buddy. Hey, Steve. Yeah, but like I was saying, write down, even when you don't see a turkey, the dead zones hey Blake, the dead zones that you're finding. Because that's going to save you time. If you've hunted this place 6 times and there's a big high point up here and there's never any turkeys on it, don't waste your time walking up to that big point. Go to where the turkey strut zones are at. Go to where you're hearing the turkeys at. Guys, if you're hunting, I'll tell you something else too, and this has nothing to do with scouting. It has to do, hey, good to see you, Blake. This has to do with your woodsmanship skills. If those turkeys are flying down every day, and you hear them, but you have a hard time getting in on those turkeys, guys, don't go and hunt them off the roost if you know where they're going to. Get down there before daylight where you know they're going to in that strut zone. Sit down in that strut zone. If you got decoys, put your decoys out and sit down. Call super soft. Don't pound. If you're having a hard time getting them turkeys to come in and they're going to a strut zone, absolutely don't pound those turkeys. Go to where they're flying down to every day. Get your decoys out. Keep it super soft. That's going to put you in the catbird seat as far as trying to kill one. Hey, Matthew. Good to see you, buddy. Hey, Bobby. Hey, Richard. Yeah, but keep a journal. Walk your area. Guys, one more thing I'll tell you. If you hunt, the northern part of the state has more farmland than the southern part of the state. But up toward Morgantown and Charleston and Parkersburg, if you get on one of these farms up there, guys, there's some big fields up there. Big field gobblers, and they get pretty daggone big. Well, if you're hunting one of those areas, guys, you can observe them gobblers with binoculars and don't even have to go over there messing with them things and worry about bumping them and stuff. Carry your binoculars with you. I always get you a good set of quality binoculars and carry them with you and get to where you can see and watch those fields. That'll tell you an awful lot of information. Terrence, moon phases, to be honest with you, I've never noticed the moon phase I know a lot of people say it does. I'm just going to go by my personal experience. The moon phases never affected them like I think they do deer as much as the weather. When you've got really, really cold weather or really high winds, that seems to affect the gobbling. Turkeys are still out there, and they're still breeding. They're just not as vocal. So, for example, if the wind's blowing super hard, what do turkeys not like? They don't like that movement. They don't like seeing stuff moving around them like that. They can't trust it. So what are they going to do? They're going to get out in one of those fields, or they're going to get out somewhere to where they can see things around them, to where all this moving brush isn't right on top of them. They can't protect themselves that way. So high winds, they're going to be out in the open. It can be an old logging road bed, a landing where where people vlogged. But what you want to do in that situation when it's real high winds is really look for open areas, guys. Same thing when it's raining. They like open areas. I'll tell you this too. The areas you're going to hunt early in season are going to change from where you hunt late in season. Let's see. Christopher said, hey, buddy, last year's first year, didn't kill a turkey about 15 years. I was on a new job day shift. Buddy, Chris, I'm going to tell you something. Last year was our toughest season we've had in a very long time, bud. Very long time. Last year was tough, dude. Tough. Yeah. Hey, Chris, good to see you, pal. And I'm going to tell you something else. First gobbler I killed last year, Chris, I called him up over a rock cliff, and he stepped up in the road, and I shot him, and he rolled back down that stupid rock cliff. It took me half the morning to get back up out there. I got on him quick, killed him quick. But I was half the morning climbing back up that nasty hillside, getting that gobbler out there. And when I got up, you know your victory pose you always take with your turkey? I threw him on the ground behind me, snapped a selfie for my wife, and I was done. I didn't care. I wasn't interested in a victory pose. I was absolutely, I was give out. I was tired. I put him on my four-wheeler and I came home. I was done. Hey, Brock, good to see you, buddy. Hey, Tyler. Ernie says the property across the road is a lease. They have feeders. Will turkey on our property move? They will, Ernie. I got to tell you, buddy, turkeys are going to be where they want to be. Now, they may go over and feed, but they're not going to stay with those. Hey, Jerry, good to see you, pal. They're not going to stay with those feeders, okay? They'll go over and feed on. A lot of times, I'll tell you, Ernie, they eat in the evening time on them feeders. But in West Virginia, you can't hunt over feed. So on your lease, for example, if you all got feeders, I'd get them out of there and get all the corn out of there. Because if you don't, you know, and you'd kill a turkey near one of those feeders, you'd end up being held liable for it. You don't want to get yourself in that situation. Even if you didn't do anything wrong, they'd consider it hunting over feed, and you don't want to put yourself in that situation. Okay? All right. Yeah, but guys, when you're, let's see. Hey, Tommy, good to see you, pal. Hey, Austin. But, yeah, when you're going out scouting, guys, leave that turkey call at home, please. I'm telling you. I love to call them in as much as anybody else. But when you take that turkey call out with you, you're just educating those birds. And it's going to make life harder on you when it comes season. Now, I've got a really good friend this year, guys. I'll tell you something I'm excited about. A friend I went to elementary school with and I went to high school with. He's got a cattle farm. And he wrote me and asked me if I'd like to come up, bring my little boy, and go turkey hunting this year. Dude, there are so few landowners anymore because there's a lot of people who don't respect landowners' property that'll let you hunt their property. So I'm really excited about hunting that farm. I haven't scouted it, but I mean, I'll go check it out. Like I said, the end of March and see. But I'm really excited about getting a new farm to hunt, guys. Let's see. Ernie said, calling on the roost. How do you feel about that? Seems like doesn't do good anymore like it used 2 years ago. I'm going to tell you something, honestly, Ernie. I kill more turkeys at 10 o'clock than I ever did off the roost. A lot of the time, even if they're hammering and they're gobbling, and you don't hear any hens at all, a lot of times they're still within eye shot or earshot of another hen that they can see or they was with when they went to bed last night. They know she's there. And I don't care how good you call, a lot of the time, when he flies down, him and her are going to rendezvous and go away together. So, you know, I'm out there before daylight every day because I do kill them real quick off the roost sometimes. But 10 o'clock, those hens go to nest, and them gobblers get lonely. I kill a lot more around 10, 11 o'clock than I ever did on the roost. Let's see. Chris said, my dad loves his call you made him. Crying last year, but I heard some hammering. I heard that, Chris. I'm glad he likes it, buddy. I'm glad he likes it. I put a lot of work into them things, so I'm glad he likes that call, pal. Those glass calls, to get them tuned right, it's not just cutting them out and sanding them and putting them together. I mean, there's a lot goes into them, so I'm glad he really likes it, bud. Let's see. Bobby said, what about the new call? When is it available? Bobby, it's coming out this week, brother. I've already got some orders coming in. It's called Thor, the God of Thunder. Because what is a chicken? He's a thunder chicken. Or what is a turkey? He's a thunder chicken. And this new call is the God of Thunder. Guys, it is raspy. It is easy to get soft on. Look, I come on here just talk turkey. I don't want to push the mouth calls too hard on here because I don't want to sound like a commercial. But I'm telling you right now, Thor is going to be awesome. There's going to be a lot of turkey out of Thor. It's a great sounding call. I'm really excited about it. Hey, Donnie, good to see you, brother. I'm glad you joined us, pal. So, guys, we went over. I want two Thor. Okay, I got you, buddy. I'll hook you up. Bobby, me and you need to try to get together a spring, buddy, if you got a place to go. I'd love to go out with you and share the woods and elbow and laugh. And shoot, if we don't kill nothing, we'll have a good time anyway. Chris, you can get my calls at Uncle Tom's. You sure can, brother. He keeps them fully stocked. Hey, Jerry. But, guys, if y'all got any questions for me, ask me. I mean, we've been on here 20 minutes. I don't want to cut it short. I just want to go over scouting because I've been getting a lot of questions about scouting. And like I said, these calls, I don't want to sound like a commercial. I like getting on here and fellowshipping with you guys, talking turkey hunting. And, guys, I had to teach myself almost everything. My brother-in-law got me started. But after I killed my first bird, he said, you've killed a bird, you're on your own. So everything I've learned, I had to teach myself. So anything I can help and save some growing pains, or if you're a turkey hunted for a long time, if I can help you look at things with a new set of eyes, you know, because trust me, I steal advice off of people all the time. All the time. I'm going to tell you something happened last year on Youth Day that I learned a lesson from. I took Caleb out, my little boy, and we called in a gobbler. It was Youth Day. We called in a gobbler, but the hill was like this, straight up and down. So, and he kept trying to slide down the hill. So I had him get behind a big oak tree and put his feet against it so he wouldn't slide down the hill. And that turkey was just over the point. I thought, well, if it comes up, and it was over a little bit on the right-hand side of the point. I said, when that thing comes up, he's going to be able to see it and get a shot. Well, it wasn't 5 minutes. That turkey came up 15 yards of us, and it was directly on the other side of that tree where Caleb couldn't see it because he had that tree in front of him. You know, I was trying to help him where he's a kid, where he wouldn't slide down the hill, but that turkey, as they always seem to do, came up in the perfect spot where Caleb couldn't see him. And I was looking at him in the wide open. Hey, Carlos. Hey, Robbie. I'll answer you in just a second, pal. So that turkey he never seen us. He never seen a hen, so he just went back over the hill. We went on out around the ridge and got set up on another one way out the hill. Well, I look over at Caleb, and he's got his gun up on his knee, but he's shaking. He's a kid, and he's getting tired. Well, I told him I heard a hen yelp over the hill, and I heard wing beats going. Fighting. I thought hens was fighting over my call like a big dummy. I messed up. I told Caleb, I said, honey, that gobbler's still on out the hill. Put your gun in your lap until he gets a little bit closer, and then we'll get ready. Because he's shaking so bad he couldn't hold his gun up anymore. His gun wasn't laying in his lap 15 seconds. And two gobblers, that's what I heard fighting over my hen call. Two gobblers, as soon as he put his gun in his lap, walked up over the hill right in front of him. You know, so I'm like, Caleb, there they are, buddy, get them. Too late. So I messed up. I had him put his gun in his lap, and it wasn't 15 seconds. Them two big long beards walked up in the road, gone. So, you know, it happens. I still learn, just like you will. All right. Robbie said, what's the best way to get a big tom to leave a hen and come to you? Man, that's a tough one. Robbie, I'm going to tell you, the best thing you can do is fire that hen up. If you know he's got hens with him, you cut at her, you harass her, a lot of purrs and clucks. Really be aggressive. Fire her up. If you can call her in, and guys, this has got two parts to it. Call her in. A lot of times she'll drag the gobbler behind her. But that gobbler usually isn't right on top of her. So he's going to be 30, 40 yards behind her a lot of the time. You got to get her in close And you got to be set up, because if you call her in and she busts you, you're never even going to see that gobbler. So you got to be set up before she comes in, be super still, keep her fired up, and get that gobbler to come in. Because if you don't, I'm telling you guys, that gobbler's still going to be over the hill or around the point, and she sees you, you're never going to see him. She's going to take off. He's spooked, and that hunt is shot in the butt, so to speak. You're going to have to go find another gobbler. So calling in a big gobbler with hens, call the hens in. That's your best bet. Chris said, I love bow hunting, but there's nothing like hearing the drum sound and a big, yes, that snowball head. Hey, let me tell you something, Chris. Buddy, I've never had my heart beat so hard in my life as when I'm sitting against a tree and I've moved in on a gobbler I heard way off, and all of a sudden you hear, and you hear them spit and drum. They didn't gobble and warn you they was close. Because, guys, when you hear that spit and drum, they're right on top of you. When you hear that spit and drum, they're right on top of you. And you didn't even know you was that close to them? Shoot. When that happens, your heart's beating right here in your throat. It ain't in your chest no more. Your heart, if you got any heart in you for turkey hunting, it's going to be beating right here in your throat. Guys, it's exciting. Chris White won't be on. Chris, you're exactly right, brother. Hey, man, I hope you got a good place to hunt, Chris. I'm part of that run and gun club in Fayette County up there by you, Chris. Listen, let me tell you something. I got to do some scouting during buck season. Very first day of rifle season, I had like 50 turkeys come through. I've never seen a flock of turkeys like that. They walked all over top of me. So they're going to be split up soon, but man, I found a heck of a place to turkey hunt. I mean, a heck of a place. There's a bunch of them right on top of me. So fingers crossed I'll be able to get on some. I hope so, man. Hey, Jordan, good to see you, buddy. How many people on here need a crow call before season? Let me ask you that. I need to know how many reeds, because I get a guy in Pennsylvania to cut my reeds for me. Anybody on here going to need not a crow call, an owl call. I said a crow call. Anybody on here going to need a good owl call when it comes in? Because I am going to be ordering those reeds. I'm going to be turning the barrels and all, but I got to have the reeds come in. So if you want one, message me, because I need to know a little bit ahead of time. Let's see. Robbie says, I get buck fever, but I've never shook so hard in my life on a big bird drum. But you're right. Listen. I went one time. I killed a turkey. I was lucky. I killed a gobbler first time I went out, and I was hooked. I'd rather do it than deer hunt. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but I've said this a bunch of times, and I mean it. If I had to choose one, deer hunting or turkey hunting, guys, you take every buck in the world, shove them off the end of a rock cliff. I'm going turkey hunting. Let's see. Yeah, Chris, you're right. More turkeys. I've not seen turkeys like this since the mid-90s. This is the most turkeys I've seen since the mid-90s. It's going to be a great year for them. We're going to have a lot of hens to deal with, but there should be a lot of gobbling. Long as the weather cooperates and it's not cold and freezing rain for a month, it should absolutely be awesome. Yeah, Ernie, the owl hooters will be out in 2 weeks too, buddy. Hi, Carlos. Let's see, Lee. You ever do any shoot and scoot turkey hunting? Thinking about buying? Listen, Lee, I did that one time without a decoy. I did it in Missouri, and you can hunt all day out there. So he was out in the middle of a field strutting, and me and a friend of mine, Bradley, crawled through knee-high grass, 300 yards through that stupid field, and then just raised up and killed a gobbler. It just wasn't for me. I tried it one time. It just wasn't for me. I'd rather call one in. Aside from my knees being tore all to pieces after crawling 300 yards, that was a pretty looking grassy field, but it was loaded with rocks. It tore my knees all to pieces climbing out there. I don't use the little fake fan, what they call fanning turkeys, going up and hunting them. I don't do that either. I'm scared of getting shot. It works. I mean, I've seen the videos just like a lot of you have. It absolutely works. It just ain't my deal, you know. Hey, Chris Vigano, good to see you, buddy. Ernie said I learned a lesson the hard way last year. I was using a Jake decoy with a hen and a big old gobbler. And that big old gobbler got spooked, and Dad told me that sometimes them old gobblers Well, yeah, you're right. Ernie, I will tell you why they're worried about them jakes. Okay, Cole, I got you, buddy. I'll tell you why they're worried about them jakes. Jakes are dirty fighters. I'm just gonna tell you right now, jakes are dirty fighters. They ain't gonna challenge that gobbler one-on-one. When a gobbler gets jumped on by jakes, it's usually 4 or 5. They all jump on him as a pack. Where they're young, they run together. Those little flocks of jakes in the spring, they don't jump on a gobbler by himself. They're too chicken to do that. They're bullies. They get their little gaggle of jakes and they all jump on him. So that's why a lot of times the gobbler's cautious, or even around a jake, is because a lot of times he's not fighting that jake. He's fighting 4 or 5. Let's see. Hey, Ethan. Hi, Whitney. Good to see you, sweetheart. Jason says we've had a pretty nice winter so far here in Vermont. Shouldn't be much of a winter kill. You're right, Jason. You're right. The winter kill shouldn't be bad at all. The only thing I worry about, I'm going to tell you, is a real wet spring is not good for the hatch. So I'm hoping spring isn't really, really, really cool and wet, because that's not good for the hatch. So I'm hoping it's a drier spring. Guys, if you hear cats, I've got a bunch of little kittens I got to find a home for that we took in, running around here, and they're loud as they can be. So just ignore them, guys. Christopher says, people always ask me how I kill a lot of turkeys, and I've told them a lot of luck. And with God's help, and I always tell them 2 things. Don't overcall, and no movement. Always be ready and set up to be sure. Chris, you nailed it right there, buddy. I don't care. I'm going to get a drink of water real quick, guys. I don't care how good a turkey hunter you are, how good a turkey caller you are. If you call too much to them turkeys, you're messing yourself up. I said this last year on some of my podcasts, but it never hurts to repeat it. When that gobbler knows where you're at, and he hammers every time you call, do yourself a huge favor and just shut up. That turkey's going to continue to stand there and gobble for a while. And eventually he's going to shut up. And early, me, speaking for me, I thought, man, that turkey's just got disinterested and left. Most of the time, no. When they decide to make a move and come find you, they shut up. When he shuts up, give him 15 minutes. Then call. Most of the time, he's going to be right on top of you guys. Right on top of you. You got to be still, too. If you keep that gobbler hammering, if you keep him pounding, guys, you're just asking him to call in a hen to him. And she'll walk right down to him and leave. And you spend all morning getting to listen to a lot of gobbles, but no luck killing anything. When that gobbler you know is hammering to your calls, shut up and hope he shuts up. The sooner he shuts up, the sooner he's going to break strut and come into you a lot of the time. Get him tore up and then shut it down. They can't stand it, guys. They can't stand it. Once he's answering you, your best call was none at all. Okay? I will, Cole. I will, buddy. Hey, Brian. Carl says, I love to do it all, but turkey hunting gets my heart pumping. Carl, I'm the same way, buddy. I've killed a lot of deer, and I enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I'm not tearing deer hunting down, but it doesn't do to my nerves what turkey hunting does. Turkey hunting absolutely kills me, dude. When they're gobbling and strutting, or that drum. There's nothing like that drum when they're close. Right by you, shoot. Buddy. Tears me all to pieces. Hey, Keith, good to see you, buddy. Hey, Jason. Hey, Joseph. Hey, Matt. Bobby says, any pointer on birds that hear a lot of calling on public land? Absolutely. And I went over that earlier, Bobby, but it bears repeating, okay? Listen where that bird goes, the direction he goes when he flies down. Don't try to hunt him off the roost. Listen to where that bird goes. Use an owl call. Guys, let me tell y'all something about an owl call. Robert, I'll take you, buddy. I'd love to hunt with you, pal. I'd love to share the woods with you, brother. Listen to where them birds go. Don't call to them off the roost. Get down there where he's at. Either set your blind up, Get set with your back against a big tree. Carl, we'll do our best to do it, pal. We'll do our absolute best to do it. Get your back against the tree, get in a blind, whatever you're going to hunt out of, where he's strutting. Go find that strut zone. Go find that strut zone, guys. Let's see. Robbie says, do you got any suggestions for a good broadhead for turkey? Guys, I've only turkey hunted a little bit with archery equipment. Never killed one with archery equipment. Not going to pretend I have. A very good friend of mine, Bert Short, Dickie Short, he kills them with a longbow almost every year. I think, and I'll ask him, but I think he uses, if I'm remembering right, like one of those 2-blade bear broadheads is what I think. Robert, buddy, you'd have a hard time finding a better taxidermist than what you are, brother. A really hard time. Guys, Robert is in Kansas, and he does awesome turkey mounts. Awesome turkey mounts. Hi, Billy. Hey, CJ. You use a Muzzy, Robert? Is that what you use? Is it the old Muzzies or is it the new ones? Which model Muzzy are you using when you archery hunt them? I know they got these gobbler guillotines, Robbie. It's a big wide, like a 2-inch cut or something like that. It's fixed, and it's the blades are out like that, and they try to decapitate them. I know a lot of people use those. And Robert says a Muzzy MX4 4-blade is the one to use. Oh, you're in Oklahoma, right, Robert, but you hunt Kansas. Sorry, buddy. What's the wildest hunt you ever had? I called one in around a 4-wheeler trail, around a curve 20 yards from me, so I got down one knee ready to hunt. I'm going to tell you, Chris, the craziest hunt I ever had, and I felt guilty about it. I was going out of Logan Road to get to a point I wanted to hunt, and as I was going, I was 2 curves from where that Logan Road completely ended, where I wanted to be. So I was going around out that Logan Road, and I looked over to the right of me, just something caught my eye, and there's a guy sitting against a tree over there. Well, I'd already drove right in on top of him, so I said, well, shoot, I'm not doing no good now. I drove on out past him to where I wanted to hunt. It was about 400 or 500 yards away from where he was at, and I shut the 4-wheeler off, and I let everything quieten down, and I walked 20 yards over the hill from where I parked my 4-wheeler, just going to listen, because, I didn't have room to walk around or nothing. I was stuck where I was at then. And I gave it about 5 minutes, and I called and didn't hear anything. And I sat a couple minutes and called one more time, and I was just going to relax because I'd done drove by that guy. I didn't want to mess his hunt up anymore. Buddy, I called that second time, and there was 2 gobblers gobbled right there at my 4-wheeler 20 yards behind me. Man, I just parked that 4-wheeler there. And wherever they came from, they came right past my 4-wheeler, walked right past it. And come down over the hill, and I killed one. And I got to tell you guys, I put that gobbler on the front of my 4-wheeler and headed out. And I felt guilty driving back by that guy after driving in there. I didn't know he was there, but it bothered me. I felt guilty driving back by that guy with that gobbler on the front of my 4-wheeler. I'd say it's probably the craziest hunt I ever had, guys. Or the wildest hunt. Ain't no deer. Ernie says, ain't no deer shakes the ground like dynamite going off. You'll take, hey, Ernie, me too, pal. Me too. CJ says Rage does pretty good for archery. Tony likes a Muzzy. What, a 20-gauge single-shot kill? Absolutely, Ernie. That's what my youngest son uses, 20 gauge. Guys, I'm going to tell you they're hunting with 410s now. They got this new shot called TSS. It's tungsten steel. And guys are killing gobblers at 40 and 50 yards with 410s, guys. They're hammering them. That new TSS shot is no joke. It's no joke. That stuff, even for your 20 gauge, Ernie, that's what I got, Caleb. Get that TSS. It's expensive. It's like $30 for 5 shells. But man, when you pull the trigger, that bird hits the ground. CJ says we're going to have to get together. CJ, holler at me, buddy. I work full time, but I get 2 days off a week, and I may be on evening shift. They've got me at work. What they've got me doing right now is teaching new hire people. So, I teach class of the morning or evening, depending on what class I got. Hopefully, I'll be on evening. You know what? I may even be able to request during turkey season evening classes. I'll try that to see if I have every morning off. I'll try to do that, pal. Let's see. Jason's just sitting here listening to turkey talk. Yeah, that's right, Robert. You all can hunt all day out there, right? That's cool, buddy. Wayne, I have that from my wife's 410 and it hammered. Yeah, you're using the TSS shot, Wayne? That stuff ain't no joke, buddy. You talk about even now a revolution in ammunition. That TSS is absolute. Hey, I don't want shot with it. I'll tell you right now. I absolutely don't want shot with it. That stuff is no joke. AJD, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, I don't want shot with that stuff whatsoever. Guys, we're going to start doing this every Saturday. No, CJ, you're just trying to annoy me now. Guys, I know rifles are legal. And I don't want to offend nobody. I know everybody does their own thing. And it is legal. I think it's too green for rifles for turkey season. That's my opinion. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm going to be honest with you. When you ask me a question, I have absolutely no use for... Sure, you can shoot them across a big field out west. Guys, most of the hunting here is sharp ridges. I have absolutely no interest in taking a rifle. And to me, the whole thing is getting them in close anyway, to where they're shaking, where you feel it in your chest. They go, bow, and it smacks you in the chest. That's why I go, is that feeling, guys. I have no interest in taking a rifle. It's me. I'm not trying to offend nobody. You hunt with what you want to. It's legal. But I'm not going to do it. Robert, I'm going to be out as soon as this COVID stuff is over, pal. 2 years in a row I've tried to come out. Don't look like they're ever going to get it cleared up. I can't get my mom sick and something ended up happening to her. But I'm dying to come out. I've hunted out Kansas once and I loved it. I'm dying to come back out. Man, I want to kill me a Merriam that's got... The one I killed before had more of a yellow band in its fan instead. I guess it's a hybrid. I want to kill me a really white feathered Merriam. I'm dying to kill me a white feathered Merriam, guys. Chris says I've been running beagles in summer, and she'll blow up. I hear you, buddy. 40 yards, the wad was bouncing off the target, Wayne. Wow. I'm telling you guys, they're impressive. Krista says she shoots the Apex TSS. Krista, what gauge are you shooting? Are you shooting a 410 or a 20 gauge? Yeah, they hammer, Krista. They absolutely hammer. Hey, Mark, good to see you, buddy. So Ernie, you're asking me a 20 gauge without a choke. Does the barrel have room for a screw-in choke, or are you just talking about just a full choke slick barrel from the factory? What kind of barrel are you talking about, bud? If it's just a full choke from the factory, shoot you. Hey, I killed my first 5 turkeys with an old Remington 870 Wingmaster, shooting 2 3/4 inch nitro mags. A smooth barrel gun will absolutely do it if it shoots good. Absolutely will. Jason came down to Oklahoma and deer hunted. That's awesome, dude. That's all. Did y'all do any good, Robert? John, rifle shouldn't be legal. That ain't turkey hunting. That's just, that's me. I don't want to single anybody out or make them feel like their way of hunting isn't. It's legal. I just think it's too dangerous. You do what you want to do, but to me, it's too dangerous. That's my big problem with rifles. It gets so green. A buddy of mine almost got shot turkey hunting 10 or 15 years ago. He was crawling up to a turkey on a wooded ridge and a guy shot with a .223 and it ripped the pocket out of his jacket. Why he didn't get hit, I don't know. But he almost got shot because of that. And that guy came in with a rifle and never called the first time. So it's just too dangerous to me, guys. Krista shooting a 12 gauge Winchester. Oh, that's a sweet gun, Krista. Yeah, you're set. That is you never need anything other than that, Krista. You're shooting the Apex TSS. You never need anything else. That'll kill every turkey in the country. Hi, Rex. Robert, if this coming, it's not going to be this year because of COVID, but if next year I can make it out, do you have property in Nebraska that we can hunt, or would I need to find public land out there, or how would we go about setting a Nebraska hunt up? Because that, man, I want to kill one to put on the wall. I'll just leave him with you, and then I'll just pay for the shipping once it's done. Let's see. Jason says that hunt with Robert was awesome. Krista's got an Indian Creek choke. I've never used an Indian Creek choke, but everybody says they're great chokes, guys. I've never used one. By the way, if somebody needs a 835 jellyhead choke for a Mossberg 835 with 3.5-inch Magnum, I've got a jellyhead choke here that I don't use because I got a Carlson choke for my gun. But if somebody wants that thing, I paid $60 for it, and I'll let it go pretty cheap if you know somebody that needs it, guys. I just don't need it. I'm not using it. It's a good choke. So if somebody needs an 835 jellyhead choke, message me, and we'll figure something out on it, okay? Ernie, full choke factor. Ernie, that's all you need, pal. That's all you need. You can over-constrict your gun, and it mess your pattern up, too. So you use TSS shells, full choke, you'll be perfectly fine, buddy. With my Mossberg 935. You got that right, Wayne. And Mossberg 935s are awesome. Okay, Robert, good, buddy. And Jason said I shot a nice 9 with Robert with a bow. He's in a blind with. Wow. Wow. So did you all get it on film, Jason? Did y'all get lucky enough to videotape any of it? I'd like to see it if you did. Krista, what setup are you running with your gun? I've got a heavy old Mossberg 835. I won at a turkey calling contest, Krista, and I've got that Carlson choke in it. And I use it's got from the factory fiber optic sights on it. The bead. I don't have a scope or a red dot sight or anything like that. I just use the bead that came with it, I shoot 3.5-inch number 6 shot. I don't have TSS for my Mossberg 835. It already knocks my brains out with number 6 shot. I don't need TSS shot for it. He didn't give you time to video. So he got a shot and he went ahead and took it, did he? I love it, buddy. That's cool. He went ahead and took the shot. Ain't nothing wrong with that, buddy. Hey, he had a good time. Krista, I'm going to tell you a funny story, Krista. Me and Doodle was hunting a couple years ago. Hey, Jeffrey, good to see you, pal. You have the shot on video? Okay. I had a turkey come in a couple years ago, Krista, and it came in directly behind us. It was out in front of us and we was watching for it. And all of a sudden we started hearing it drum. And we couldn't see it. I whispered to Doodle, I said, man, that turkey's close. And he said, I know. And I got to looking around, and something told me to look over my shoulder. I looked over my shoulder, and when I did, that gobbler strutting in the road 20 yards behind us. Hey, Dwayne, good to see you, pal. I had to put that Mossberg on my left shoulder and spin around like this to get a shot at him. And when I shot, that 835 wasn't seated good against my shoulder. I'm not used to shooting left-handed, guys. And maybe I should have practiced it, I guess. But I spun around and let that gun get off my shoulder, and when I squeezed that trigger, that turkey was flopping in the road, and I was flopping against the ditch because it knocked my brains out. I'm telling you, where I didn't have that gun against my shoulder and shot it left-handed, it knocked my full brains out. Now, it did. Good to see you, Jeffrey. Buddy, we got a month left. You need to holler at me. We'll take them beagles out, pal. Have a good time hanging out. Oh, it did, Krista. It did. It rattled me. Let's see. Wayne, find out if you know anybody wants that jelly head. I'm going to let it go cheap, buddy. I don't need it. So if you know somebody wanting that 835 jellyhead choke, let me know, buddy. Let's see. Robbie said, I never forget my first hunt. I don't know who had better time, me shaking like a leaf. Hey, guys, DeWitt Brown is my little brother, Robbie. When he was 16, I called him in his first gobbler. And every time that turkey would gobble, he'd shake real violently. He's tore all 2 pieces. And I hope you don't get embarrassed by me telling this, Robbie. I love you, brother. That turkey got 40, 50 yards at us, and my little brother turned around and tried to talk me into taking his shotgun. He said, I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up. It had him tore to pieces. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. I wouldn't have taken that gun for $1 million. That's what the whole thing was about. Kill it or not, that's what the whole deal was watching him get tore up that bad. Priceless hunt, and we ended up not killing a bird. It didn't come all the way in. But we had an absolute blast, guys. Priceless. You know, we talk about our tagline with Run and Gun is become a legend. What is becoming a legend? It's these stories at Christmas and Thanksgiving or when you're hanging out with your buddies that are going to live on long after you're dead with your kids and your friends. Legendary hunts. Things that stand the test of time. That hunt where my little brother caught in me and my little brother caught in a gobbler and didn't even kill it. Stands the test, hooked right there. You got that right, pal. These are what makes a legendary hunt. That's becoming a legend. And that right there, one of my favorite hunts ever. And there was no bird taken on it, guys. Let's see. Delta, or Monty says, Harrison Richards 10 gauge 3.5, 5-shot. And agree. Monty, buddy, how are you shooting that 10 gauge 3.5? My goodness, dude. I'm going to tell you right now, you're more of a man than I am, Monty. I ain't shooting it. You're more of a man than I am, pal. I ain't doing it at all. That 3.5 wears me out in a 12 gauge. Ernie says his 870 Superman Remington busted his nose and lip. Buddy, it happens when you don't hold them tight. They got a habit of jumping up out of your hands and hitting you. Hey, Derek, good to see you, buddy. Derek, we need to get together this spring if we get a chance, pal. I ain't got the turkey hunt with you in a little while. I'd like to. So we need to get together if we can. Guys, we have been on here an hour now. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to start making this. Give me a hint. What do you all think, guys? Should we do these podcasts every week? We can always have a different main subject, or we should do them every other week. When would you all like to do this? Tell me what you all think, every week or every other week. I want us to get a lot of time visiting together and a lot of time going over things that may help you and may help me. So what do y'all think, every week or every other week? Delta Monty says it shoves you, it don't really kick. I've never shot a 10 gauge, but I've heard horror stories about them, Monty. 3.5-inch 10 gauge. Whew. No, Chris, but I'm going to try this year. I've tried it a couple times. I'm going to try again this year. That's tough to get drawn on one, man. It's tough. Robert says every week. Krista says every week. It will be here for. Okay, guys. Terrence was with me when I killed guys. Them push button box calls I got. I had one of those old years ago, 20 years ago. Terrence was with me, and I had an HS Strut one, and it sounded terrible. But we called in a gobbler and killed it, buddy. We had a ball. He come right in. He sure did. I wanted Terrence to kill that turkey. I thought we was hunting a bow, and there was a ridge on the right, ridge on the left, and I thought he was going to come out that ridge on the right. So I sat just looking down at that bow and had Terrence face that ridge, and he come up the dead center bottom of that bow, which I didn't know much about turkey hunting in either. I mean, this was when I was first getting started, and well, not first getting started, but I hadn't killed a whole lot of turkey, and I was still learning a lot. Let's see. Okay, Robbie. Everybody's saying every week? Okay, we'll start trying to do this every Saturday, guys. I'll do it about 8 o'clock. Is everybody good with Saturday? Or is there not? Or we got? I know a lot of people have church services. I don't want to interfere with that, so we'll start doing it every Saturday, guys. Okay? Yeah, Wayne. I'd be glad to do that, buddy. Those things are nice. Just if you want to send it down here, Wayne, I'll show it on camera, show it to them, and and we can do that. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's good to hear and educate. Absolutely. I'll get my call. You're fine. Just whenever you want them, Ernie. Hi, Anna. Good to see you. Anna got one of our push button box calls last year. Every week, please, on weekends. Okay, John. Hi, Lisa. Good to see you, sweetheart. Keith, what's the best call? Man, Keith, come on. You asking me a tough question now. My best-selling call is the Green-Eyed Monster. That's my best-selling call. I like the Raspy Red and Black Thunder a lot, too. I'm real partial to them. But my personal preference is for a call that barks. I like a lot of rasp. And we have that new call coming out this year, Thor. Guys, that's going to make a lot of turkey hunters happy. I'm telling you. It's turkey. When you use that Thor, it's turkey. I'm really excited about that call. That call is going to kill a lot of turkeys this spring. Really happy with it. Hey, Scott, good to see you, pal. Keith, I killed my very first turkey with an H&S Strut triple glass call. Back in 1989. I killed my very first turkey with an H&S Strut triple glass, and I love that call. Absolutely. Let me tell you what happened to it. Me and the wife got married, and we had a little boy, Jacob, and I was doing something. I was working on something. I left a hammer set on the counter between the kitchen and the living room, and my hunting vest was on the couch. So my 2-year-old son decided to smash my H&S Strut triple glass call with a hammer. So I lost it. And I'd killed so many turkeys with that call and loved the sound of it, and he completely destroyed it. Chris says one of my favorite calls is a little scratch call made by Cedar Oak. There you go. Hey, there's a guy in Summersville. I can't remember his name, used to make those scratch calls. Great call. Great call. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep. It'll be out, Chris, at the Thor call will be out this coming week. It's coming out this week. All right, guys, we're an hour in. I don't want to take up any more of your all's day. Chris, just when you send that, I've already started turning your pots on those 2 calls you asked for. So I want to go ahead and get those done and get them to you as quickly as I can. But I'm working on those, brother, okay? David, we're closing up, pal. Yeah, the Black Thunder's awesome. Awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to finish this up. Thank you all for joining me. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Saturday at 8 o'clock. Thanks for joining me, guys.